Well, it actually happened. Tesla officially just released their new Model 3 updated on their website. It definitely came earlier than most people were expecting, including me, but it did come with a lot of changes all at once, so enough to definitely call it a Model 3 refresh. And I don't really want to say I told you so, but this thing is way better in a lot of ways, and we'll get into all those details. We'll also talk about some changes to the Model Y, S, and X, so let's get into it. So in my last video, I talked about the rumors, but also the evidence that we saw that Tesla was changing the Model 3 in 3 specific areas. The first being a matte black trim around the whole car, just like is on the Model Y. A lot of people who have gotten a Model 3 over the years really didn't like the chrome and got a whole chrome delete process, so now Tesla has changed that so it just comes automatically matte black with no chrome. Although I believe the Tesla logos on the front and back and the license plate cover on the back are still chrome, which is what it's like on my Y. The second update that was rumored was the power trunk, and that is now officially updated on the Model 3. It's listed on their website that all of the Model 3s come with a power trunk. And then the third thing I talked about was the new center console, and we haven't really seen it in person, like no one has a great video going around it, but it's updated on their website. You can see the official Tesla images there. It has that updated console that has no shiny gloss piano black, finally. It has the wireless charger without the doors that are covering it, and instead of the doors flipping up, it actually slides to get to that area in the center console for storage. In my opinion, I like this center console a lot more. I would miss the door that could cover my phone when I'm driving, but other than that, it looks a lot better in my opinion, especially when you see it in context on Tesla's website. Now, right after I released that video, there were a couple more rumors that came out, and those are confirmed as well. There are now new wheels for all of the Model 3s. The standard 18-inch Aero wheels have a little bit of a flatter look, and I think they look a lot better than they used to. A lot of people didn't really like the look of the Aero wheel hubcaps themselves, but they get great efficiency, and now they've updated them. I think they look a lot better, and it seems like they might even be contributing to an increased range, which we'll get to in a second. And then if you upgrade to the 19-inch Sport wheels, those have changed just a tiny bit. They look a little bit different, but very similar to what they used to look like. And then if you get the performance model, you're gonna get the 20-inch Uber turbine wheels, which are very big, but they look really great. And I think these were wheels that were announced at the original Model 3 announcement that never came to be, and now they're finally getting released. As far as the design of the car, there are 2 more things that have likely changed but aren't confirmed on Tesla's website. One of which is that they're putting a USB port in the glove box itself so that you can plug your Sentry Mode drive in there and actually have it locked away in the glove box, so if someone were to break in, they can't actually access that drive without completely destroying the glove box. As opposed to before, they could just reach into the center console, and even if it was hidden, if they knew what they were looking for, it was easy to get to. And then the windows are likely double paned glass to reduce road noise and overall wind noise coming into the Model 3, which has been a frequent complaint. But here's where the Model 3 really gets its upgrade, and where it's absolutely worth calling it a refresh and calling it kind of a turning point for this car. The long-range version of the Model 3 now gets 353 miles of range. That's a 31-mile increase over what it was previously. Previously, it was at 322 miles. Now it's at 353. That's basically a 10% range increase, which is absolutely incredible, and the price hasn't changed. On top of this, if you get the performance model, the range is 315 miles, but the 0 to 60 has gone up 0.1 seconds to 4.1 as opposed to the previous 4.2. May not seem like much, but hey, might as well. And then the standard range version now has a range of 263 miles over the previous 250 miles, so a 13-mile increase there. Oh, and one more little update to the Model 3. It now says that it includes power folding, auto dimming, heated side mirrors. And as far as I know, that is a new feature. One thing we won't know until it's actually released, or if Elon tweets about it, is if the Model 3 has the heat pump from the Model Y. It seems like it probably will, but we're not sure until we see the inside. And they're all at the same prices, with the Standard Range Plus starting at $37,990. The Long Range, again, coming in at 353 miles of range at $46,990. And the Performance version at $54,990. So while the outside of the car, besides the black trim and the wheels, might not look a ton different, this is a big refresh, and it's absolutely as big as a new iPhone refresh. If you think about the iPhone 12 that was just announced and its improvements over the iPhone 11, it's great, but it will take you a second to realize that it's the new phone. It looks overall the same as the previous phone, but it's a lot better in some key ways that you can't necessarily see right away. And while this new center console is great, and I think the matte black trim is going to be great, and these new wheels seem to be nice, the range increases are definitely the biggest part of this Model 3 update. So where are these range increases coming from? I mean, that's a pretty drastic increase, 31 miles. That doesn't really seem like just a software update. Well, as we know, Battery Day happened recently, and Tesla announced their 4680 cells, which you can actually see on this shirt, and you can check this shirt out in the link below. But it's not entirely clear whether this is Tesla's own battery cells that they're using, or whether they're just an updated version of Panasonic cells. I've seen speculation of people saying it's new battery chemistry being made by Panasonic that Tesla is now using. But then I've seen other people saying, well, they have that test plant up at Fremont, and it must be producing at way higher volumes than Tesla told us at Battery Day. I mean, if they had told us at Battery Day that in around a month, the new Model 3 is going to get 31 miles more range, they would have killed all their sales between Battery Day and the end of the quarter. Although I do wish we could figure out this update cycle like Apple. Apple, we know around October every year we're getting new iPhones. So you probably don't want to buy a brand new one in September every year because a month later it's going to be outdated, or you could buy it for cheaper. I wish we could figure that out with Tesla, but unfortunately they're just too secretive and up in the air about what's going on. My personal feeling is that this is an updated battery chemistry from their suppliers as opposed to Tesla's new 4680 battery cells. Elon talked about the focus of those cells being for the Semi, Roadster, and Cybertruck, so I'm not entirely thinking that's where they are already. Especially since they've updated the Model 3, Y, S, and X all recently with updated ranges. And if it were their new cells, that would mean they would have to be putting their brand new cells, which Elon said was still being worked on, in all of their cars. So in regards to the Model Y, Tesla just updated the range on that as well, giving it 10 extra miles at 326 for the all-wheel drive version over the previous 316 miles. They also gave the performance model 12 more miles of range, which is pretty nice. Previously, it was 291 miles of range, and now it's 303. Other than that increased range for both Model Y configurations, nothing else has changed, not even the center console. So it still is that glossy piano black console on the Model Y, at least for the time being, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see that added in there just randomly over the next couple weeks. Clearly, Tesla has decided that that center console needs to go since they're changing it on the Model 3, and there's really no reason why they would keep it on the Model Y. But we have heard a lot of confirmation recently that Tesla will be producing the 7-seater version of the Model Y starting in November with deliveries in December. We knew the 7-seater was going to come later than the 5-seater, but we weren't sure how long it would be or if it would ever actually come, but now they're actually going to bring it out. I just think a lot of people are going to be disappointed with how small those seats are because there's not a ton of room back there for humans to sit. As a cargo space, it's great, and I've been living with the car for the last 6 months or so, but seating 2 more people back there, even if it's utilizing the understorage compartments, I just really don't think it's going to work well, but I'm really curious to see it in person. My guess is it will be perfect for small children, and that's about it. But now let's talk about the Model S. We know Tesla announced the Plaid version of the Model S and actually put up the order page on their website after Battery Day. But they also just lowered the price of the base model Model S, which is actually the longest range EV out there at 402 miles. And then Lucid Motors came along to announce that the Lucid Air is going to start at $69,990 and get a range of 406 miles. So it would actually be a little bit cheaper than the Model S and get a little more range. But I guess Elon wasn't having it because he posted on Twitter and said, quote, "The gauntlet has been thrown down. The prophecy will be fulfilled. Model S price changes to $69,420 tonight." I really don't know what to say, but I'm pretty sure you can figure out what that price is hinting at and how immature Elon is, but also just how much of a sense of humor he has and how not afraid he is to put these price changes in and poke fun at memes and poke fun at other electric car makers, all while lowering the price of the car and increasing the range for customers. Other than that price change, not much has changed on the Model S besides the performance model now coming in at 387 miles of range. But Tesla didn't stop there. The Model X also has new upgrades. The long-range plus version of the Model X, which comes in at $79,990, now comes in at 371 miles of range. And the performance model at $99,990 is 341 miles of range. So at least one configuration for every car in Tesla's lineup got a range increase. So this has to do more with battery technology than software or powertrain. Hopefully we'll find out some more details about this and how Tesla is achieving these ranges, but they just keep increasing them while other electric car makers are trying to catch up to even 300 miles of range. It really looks great for the future for Tesla because they just announced all of these new battery technologies that were going to be coming in a few years, and now we're seeing some upgrades that are already looking great that probably aren't even the thing they were talking about. While they're working on the future 4680 cells, which you can see right here, they're also working on other cells from their suppliers to make them better and increase range in their cars currently being produced. Again, I think we should be on the lookout for a Model Y center console refresh soon, and then I would not be surprised if we see a full-on Model X or S refresh in the near future, because they're both due. But the Model 3 is a lot different, definitely as different as the iPhone 11 to the iPhone 12. You have all those new features on the exterior and some improvements on the interior, but then you get 31 more miles of range, which is huge because the EPA range is still pretty generous. The average driver is not actually going to be able to drive 353 miles, but they may actually be able to reach that 322 that was the previous EPA estimated range. And once we start getting higher and higher into those numbers, we reach places where a lot more people are comfortable getting an electric car and not being afraid that it is going to die where there is no charger. So if you were in the market for a Model 3 and you're patient and you waited, congratulations, because you're getting a much better Model 3. If you didn't have that patience and you just bought one, it's a little unfortunate, but you still have an absolutely awesome car. On Tesla's website, it says if you order today to expect delivery in 5 to 9 weeks, so it looks like it still will be a little over a month before we actually see these produced and getting delivered to customers. But as soon as they will, I'm sure we're going to see all sorts of photos and videos, and I'm super excited to see this updated Model 3. But what are your thoughts on Tesla's whole lineup and their upgrades? Where do you think they're coming from? Is it new battery technology? Is it a bunch of little incremental updates? Let me know what you think in the comments below. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe to this channel for lots more videos like this about the Model Y and Tesla in general. Make sure to like this video if you appreciated it. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at RyanShawTech. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.